So today is a historic day. And these are the live visuals that we are getting. Now, remember, ladies and gentlemen, these are live visuals that we are getting. And also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated. Now, this is the visual that the world is expecting to see, because this means the commitment, the confidence of all the European nations. Now, this shows the victorious sign, because these are the visuals. And this is a message, a clear message that's coming from India. And this message is for the world, especially America, China, and all other countries, because we have become officially trade partners now. This was a wait for more than 2 decades, and now it's finalized. This is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And all right, this is a very, very big development. Everybody is smiling, everybody is happy, because we have finalized a major free trade agreement. I'm being joined by our senior executive editor Abhishek with us. Abhishek, everybody is smiling, everybody is happy. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already congratulated every citizen of the nation for this historic FTA, free trade agreement deal. Abhishek, over to you.
Yes, Shivam. So look at the optics. The Prime Minister in the colors of the European Union, with the dark and the light blue shawl over him, and the body language, the warmth, and the energy that you see amongst the three leaders, the chemistry, the high five and the handshake, and the coming together of the fists. And I think there is a jointness, so to say, in this geopolitical / geo-economic message being sent from New Delhi to world capitals, specifically one to the west of the Atlantic, which is Washington, D.C. And I think it's a strong one at that, a strong message of multiverse that exists in world affairs, of multi-alignment, of strategic autonomy. Remember, strategic autonomy, when India spoke about it, was seen as some kind of uppity move by middle power. But now, with the kind of push that Europe has faced from the United States in the last 1 month over Greenland, even Europe has started seeing virtue in the strategic autonomy. So the kind of beeline we are seeing European leaders make to Beijing, for example, from Emmanuel Macron a fortnight back to Frederick Merz this week, and in between Mark Carney of Canada, I think there is a strong realignment of geopolitical forces and powers happening in this great power game that has been unleashed because of Trump's tariff wars. And in the backdrop of the tariff wars, Shivam, the India-EU trade deal gains that much more salience, significance, and signaling, so to say, from New Delhi to rest of the world, that if America indulges in this push and shove kind of diplomacy, then the world can realign in a manner that the international rules-based order can still be preserved. So while the Trump wrecking ball is trying to disturb that, the world is coming together to make sure that that painstakingly built rules-based order over the last 7 or 8 decades post the World War II is not, broken to smithereens. So be it the body language, be it the, faces, the kind of relief that's there. Remember also that between India and EU, if you look at individually some of the EU bloc nations, so some of these countries like France, Germany, Italy, we already have a defense, ongoing very strong defense and security partnership, a very strong strategic partnership, a very strong economic relationship, a very strong people-to-people connect with the mobility agreement signed for migration and mobility of workers and the work visas. So the European Union Free Trade Agreement really takes it to two notches up. And I think, and in that sense, it's more like signaling and messaging that's really important vis-a-vis the numbers. The numbers, of course, are already also there in terms of the bilateral trade bringing. But then remember, it's a summation of the trade that we have already with Germany, Italy, France, Belgium, etc. This just sort of brings that together, and the number really looks good at $200 billion plus, goods and services included, and a 2 billion population, 1/4 of global trade. Obviously, European Union has much bigger trade going with China, for example, and that's an ambition. So what this trade deal is going to do is, apart from signaling, add that bit of ambition also that, both the sides really have to scale up and look at, say, $500 billion over the next 7, 8 years, 10 years, if possible, maybe less. And that's going to act as a booster for Indian economy. Remember, we have a favorable trade situation with the European Union and the constituent countries, with India exporting more than importing. So in that sense, and this trade deal itself is going to make goods worth about $50 billion tariff-free. So it's not just about India importing cheaper European cars, at least the expensive ones, or cheaper wine. It's about mass market where Indian production, Indian engineering, Indian manufacturing really gets a push with this trade deal. So I think a very significant development there. And these pictures of course, diplomacy, if diplomacy or substantial bit of diplomacy is about optics, these optics are really, really strong. And it might form part of the larger European pushback against the Trump administration's, taking the wrecking ball to Europe finally. But even for India, this is very significant. These pictures coming in from Hyderabad House in New Delhi, coming as it does on the backdrop, in the back of the EU leaders being chief guests at the Republic Day parade and ceremonies. It's a state visit panning out, and now, of course, the three leaders have gone inside for the delegation level talks as part of the annual India-EU summit that takes place every year, this time in New Delhi, like it happened last time in Brussels.
Definitely, Abhishek. Thanks for your insight on this developing story. And it means a lot for India and also for European Union, because it shows the trust each and every nation has on India, which is truly a Vishwaguru. And these optics are an example, clear picture of India leading the world, being the largest growing economy in the world, largest growing economy as of now. And everybody wants to have a partnership, an agreement with India. All right, so Prime Minister Narendra Modi today addressing the India Energy Week, what he spoke on India-EU trade deal. Let's listen in.
Friends, अपनी बात आगे बढ़ाने से पहले मैं एक बड़े डेवलपमेंट की चर्चा करना चाहूंगा। कल ही भारत और यूरोपियन यूनियन के बीच एक बहुत बड़ा एग्रीमेंट हुआ है। दुनिया में लोग इसकी चर्चा मदर ऑफ ऑल डील्स के रूप में कर रहे हैं। ये समझौता भारत के 140 करोड़ लोगों और यूरोपीय देशों के करोड़ों लोगों के लिए बहुत बड़े अवसर लेकर आया है। ये दुनिया की दो बड़ी इकोनॉमीज के बीच तालमेल का एक शानदार उदाहरण बना है। ये समझौता ग्लोबल जीडीपी के करीब 25% और ग्लोबल ट्रेड के करीब 1/3 हिस्से को रिप्रेजेंट करता है। ये समझौता ट्रेड के साथ साथ डेमोक्रेसी और रूल ऑफ लॉ के प्रति हमारे शेयर्ड कमिटमेंट को भी सशक्त करता है। साथियों, ईयू के साथ हुआ ये फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट ब्रिटेन और एप्टा समझौतों को भी कॉम्प्लीमेंट करेगा। इससे ट्रेड और ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन दोनों को मजबूती मिलेगी। मैं भारत के नौजवानों को, सभी देशवासियों को इसके लिए बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। मैं टेक्सटाइल, जेम्स एंड ज्वेलरी, लेदर एंड शूज, ऐसे हर सेक्टर से जुड़े साथियों को भी बधाई देता हूं। ये समझौता आपके लिए बहुत सहायक सिद्ध होगा। साथियों, इस ट्रेड डील से भारत में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को तो बल मिलेगा ही, साथ ही सर्विसेज से जुड़े सेक्टर का भी और अधिक विस्तार होगा। ये फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट